Hi everyone, good evening and welcome back to another session of yoga. Before I pass you over to our lovely instructor Annie, I'll just go through our usual disclaimers first. Please remember that when practicing yoga online, it's up to the individual to assess whether they are ready for the class they've chosen, in this case fertility yoga. If you suffer from specific injuries or disease, it's best to consult with your doctor first. Practice of yoga requires you to gauge the safety of your practice within your own limitations. So remember, it's better to build up slowly rather than to force and strain. While you may feel exertion, you should also feel relaxed. Techniques and suggestions presented in this webinar are not intended to substitute for proper medical advice. You should always consult your doctor before beginning any new exercise program. Both Fertility Network UK and Annie Perry assume no responsibility for any injuries suffered while practicing these techniques. As always, if you are enjoying the sessions, please do let us know on social media. It's really helpful for us to get that feedback when we're planning events in the future. So I'll pass over to you, Annie. Thank you.
Thanks, Emily, as always. Hi, everybody. Welcome back. If you're coming back for, what are we now of this block? Week 2 of this block. And you're more than welcome if it's your first time as well. We're going to get cracking. I'll keep you right. I always say this every week, just in case there are new ladies. I'll keep you right for stages of your cycle, your menstrual cycle. I'll keep you right in terms of if you're on stimulation drugs, and just really avoiding the physical part of the practice if you're post 40 hours post retrieval or post transfer if you are going through IVF treatment. Okay, so I hope everyone's okay. We are going to do a nice practice just tapping into the sacral chakra again. So I found a really nice quote to read you just to start us off. Okay, so as you know, fertility yoga is specifically designed in terms of the physical to deal with menstrual discomfort, to send blood flow into your key endocrine glands, to do with fertility. So there's a big physical element as well, but there's loads and loads. I mean, the yoga philosophy is huge, but there's so much in it that can really be beneficial to you on a fertility journey if it is a particularly tough fertility journey. Okay, so one of those things is one of the 8 limbs of yoga, and it's called pratyahara. I'm terrible at pronouncing Sanskrit, although I do really try my best. And it is about coming into the present moment. Okay, so just really seeing your practice as you only have the present moment to move through, accepting yourself as you come to the mat, accepting yourself. So emotions and all, baggage and all, accepting yourself, and just moving into the present moment. And that can be a real comfort as you are going through a fertility journey, okay, because it can get so stressful, and your mind can go to the future too much, and your mind can whirl over things too much. So that's where we can start to tap into yoga philosophy to really bring you a sense of comfort on this journey. Okay, so we're going to do that. So this is the quote this is a quote that I saw today, and I thought I'm going to tell you guys it tonight. Peace is accepting today, releasing yesterday, and giving up the need to control tomorrow. So that real sense of releasing what's past, trying not to go too far ahead into the future, and just accepting yourself as you are. Okay, so let's try and meditate on that tonight as we move through our practice. All right, I just saw a wee question pop up, so let me check it and see if everybody's okay. Yeah, I think if you've had that, yeah, that's a good idea. If you've had any kind of treatment like that, endo scratch and things, just watch, just really be gentle. It is quite a gentle practice, it always is, but really watch. Okay, no other questions, no other chat. I hope everyone's okay. Pop me a comment after. I like to read your wee comments after to see what you thought. Okay, right, so we're going to do just a nice full yogic breath as we bring ourselves into the present moment. That is all we're trying to aim for tonight. Okay, just really bringing ourselves into the present and just accepting ourselves as is. Okay, so we're going to do a nice full yogic breath from lying on our back in constructive rest. So if you've been coming a while, you know how much I just love this position. It's restful, of course it is, and that's what we're aiming for, but it also does loads of lovely good stuff for the womb space and for the hips, okay? So with everything we do in the practice, let's make it really mindful, okay? So I've got my feet out in front, just bringing my heels in slightly, knees bent, hands just come out behind. Then we'll just get our body down to that supine position, beginning just to really roll through the lower back. So you'll feel that really knobbly bone, the sacrum bone in the middle of the pelvis. Rest onto your elbows for a minute and just have a little feel into your pelvis and let it settle. Make sure the pelvis is nice and straight. Then fold down a little further. Bring your head to rest onto the floor. If you feel that your feet are too far away from you, then just walk them in. They shouldn't be tight in, the heel's not tight in. We want to feel a looseness and a comfort into the hips here. It takes pressure off the pelvis. We want to feel a comfort. And I would like you to bring your hands onto your womb if you can. Okay, just accepting any thoughts that trigger from me saying that. Sometimes you can fall out with it, that's fine, but let's just accept that feeling with no judgment. And that's what I want you to do with everything you do tonight. Accept it. It's how you came tonight to your practice, so we accept what is with no judgment. Okay, so hands onto the belly, index fingers together, thumb together, forming a downward pointing triangle. So with your thumb, have a little feel about for your belly button. That's where your thumbs meet, and your index finger should be just about at the pubic bone. Okay, the rest of the fingers are just nice and splayed out. And then we close the eyes over. Okay, so we're going to move into the full yogic breath. But first of all, let's just notice how we're feeling. So I did say we're coming as we are tonight. Just sitting up so I can talk to you. We're coming as we are, so we accept how we're feeling with no judgment. We accept any thoughts that bubble up, but we're not entering into dialogue with your thoughts, okay? So we're not getting into any great discussion. They are just like clouds over a sky, okay? And now, with your hands in this mudra, with the index fingers and the thumb, let's begin to really be aware of the movement of the breath. Aware of every inhalation, every exhalation, enabling your body to settle down to the support of the earth beneath. So sometimes when we move our breath into this deeper belly breath, so we're feeling the hands rise and fall, sometimes there can be sort of areas of tension in the belly, like a gripping sensation in the belly, particularly if you do suffer from like tough menstrual symptoms. So just notice that. Does it feel quite fluid and quite free there, or are there little areas of pain? So we're allowing this movement of the hands and allowing that movement to get a little bit, you know, like the hands rising a little higher, moving back together. Okay. So we've moved the breath deep down into the belly. Now let's just focus a little bit on the ribs and the rib cage and the lungs. So now you can keep your hands where they are if you want, or you could maybe it helps you to feel the hands where you're trying to direct the breath. So you could bring the hands just under your breasts, just round the bottom of the rib cage, and just have them settle there. And then allow the rib cage to expand and contract with these lovely big full inhalations. So really trying to not force any part of the breath, okay? We're not forcing anything, but we are noticing each lovely part. Inhale, pause of the breath, exhale, turn of the breath, back to an inhale. We're now going to move on, so we can easily keep our eyes closed for the next bit as well. That's another real element of this pratyahara. It's like a real sense of turning within. The outside world doesn't matter, you're just focused inwards. So you can keep your eyes closed, and we're going to do a little thing called seed to flower, okay? And it's a nice way to start getting your body moving while connecting with the breath. So at the moment, our feet, I don't know if I did say this, but they should be about hip width. Can't even remember if I said that to you, sorry if I didn't. But then we want to bring them together. So the knees are still bent. You're essentially just as you are, but you're bringing the feet to touch, the ankles, the knees, and that's you in a really nice closed position, okay? If you've taken your hands off your belly, bring them back to the belly, just how we started. And now we're going to do this lovely opening and closing thing with the body that then connects in with the breath, okay? So you're going to take a nice big inhale and take your hands up above the head, and at the same time let the knees fall out to the side, the soles of the feet come together. This is like a lovely open flower here. Feel that nice openness. Turn of the breath, exhale, close it all back up again. So the hands come back onto the belly, knees together, thighs together. And it's just this. We do this quite a lot in these classes. I do them in my classes with my ladies, in my own fertility classes as well. And it's just lovely because it helps you connect with the breath and connect with the rhythm of your body with the breath, which is really what yoga's all about. And I just think these postures which force you to move slowly and connect with the breath, before you know it, you've been concentrating so hard that you're just in this lovely present moment. So the ideal scenario is that we lift the hands up above the head and they touch the floor behind at the same time as the knees get to their widest point. And that when we exhale, we finish up with the knees, thighs together, hands onto the belly. I'm rotten at it, so don't look at me to copy, just do it yourself. Because as I'm talking here, I'm like, you're telling everybody to do that, but you're so out of sync. It's because I'm not really concentrating. But that's your ideal. Lovely and open, and then zipped up and closed up. Okay, let's make this our last one. Let's close ourselves up to a little seat, and then let's roll onto our side, okay? And get up to a seated position. So let's tuck the heels underneath. We're coming into a virasana, a kneeling thunderbolt position. So this is just with the heels tucked underneath. We're going to do a few positions from here, okay? So this is like the easiest option with the heels tucked right underneath. You can take your heels apart a little and drop your sit bones in between so that now I'm like sitting on the floor. It's quite tough into the knees, but it's quite toning into the pelvis and into the knees. But to sit here for ages would probably be quite difficult, right? So find somewhere like a good position in between that, okay? We're going to do a nice twist, okay? So you've got two options in your twist. You've got a nice closed, zipped up one that really gets everything squeezing into the pelvis, or one that's much more open, much more suited to second half of the cycle, menstruation, post-treatment, that kind of thing, okay? So to go a little tighter, you take your right hand across the body, onto the left thigh, gazing behind, really going for it a little bit more, lift and lengthen through the spine and gaze behind. A little bit more gentle is just right hand, right knee, and just a simple gaze over your shoulder. So we're still lengthening the spine, we're opening up the body, but it's not as squeezy. Technical term there for you. Do you know what I mean? So this is where we can start to really connect in with how we're feeling and what our the tune of our body. What's your body telling you to do here? Go quite tight or keep it nice and open. Into center and over to the other side, doing exactly the same as what you did on that side, and open, or a nice squeezy close twist with the hand coming across the body. Remember your breath. So now we've been concentrating so hard in our opening meditation and in seed to flower. We don't want that all to go now, okay? Just because we've got our eyes open and we're getting moving a little bit, we still want to concentrate on the breath. Back round to the front. I'm going to tuck my heels under a little bit more. I do find that quite tough into my wee ankles and my knees, so I'm tucking my heels under. But we're essentially staying where we are. We're just going to lengthen the torso a bit here. So let's link the hands together, turn the palms up towards the ceiling, lift and lengthen. So we're placing the head in between the arms, relaxing the shoulders, lifting and lengthening, and then taking the hands, just let them drop slightly over to the right, and just open up down the left side of the body. Into center, over to the other side. Into center, and then we're just going to release the hands down and come into a nice gentle forward fold here. I'm just turning to the side to show you. So we're just folding over this Virasana position. If you've got a sore tummy through menstrual discomfort or through stims or anything like that, widen your knees up and pop your tummy in between your thighs. If you don't, then we're just keeping the thighs together and we're just simply folding over, taking the forehead towards the floor, to keeping the hands down by our side. If we can, popping our forehead onto the mat. Excuse me while I just turn these heaters off. They're awful noisy, but I'm turning them off now because it's warm. Okay, so keep breathing there. Okay, we're now going to lift up again, and we're going to go into a slightly different position. So before there, when we folded over, we were trying to keep the heels kind of semi-connected with the heel, the bum connected with the heels. Now we can let it rise up, okay? And we're going to tuck our chin down towards our chest, and we're going to try and connect the very crown of your head onto the mat, okay, into a hair position. Okay, so tucking the chin down, tilting the head so that the crown, I'm probably shouting at you now because my microphone came right to my mouth. Tuck the head under, let the hands come by your side, and let the bum lift up a little bit. Okay, coming back up. We're now going to come into what's called a puppy dog position. So it's similar to what we've just done as in the bums coming up, but we're going to take the hands forward this time, and we're going to try and open the heart space towards the floor. We're not really connecting the head with the mat this time. We're just going to gaze along the mat, okay? So lift your bum up, take your hands away out in front, and start to tilt your pelvis slightly, okay? So we want to feel the pelvis open up slightly, the sit bones coming towards the ceiling, hands out in front, and just melt your heart down towards the mat while lifting the sit bones up, and we're taking our gaze forward. Breathing into the heart space here, so we want to start to open up through the heart. Okay, coming up, just come to a tabletop. So bring your hands back underneath your shoulders, and we're going to warm up through the hips a little more, okay? So let's do cat and cow. You're probably well used to this if you've been doing it every week. If you're not, don't worry, I'll tell you what to do, okay? Hands below the shoulders, knees below the hips. We're now going to tilt the pelvis again, so that real opening of the sit bones. Dip the navel down towards the floor, open the chest, relax your shoulders, and take your gaze up. So we're into a cow position. So usually we flow between cat and cow, which we're going to do in a minute, but let's just stay here for a few more breaths. We need to be quite intuitive, okay? That's what I'm trying to teach you guys, to really go within to your body and, ask your body questions of what it wants you to do, obviously within all safety parameters, but all I'm not meaning doing anything mad here. All I was really trying to say there was sway your hips. Maybe I should just have said sway your hips if you want to sway your hips. That's what... Oh, shut up, Annie. Right, so what I'm trying to say is, if you feel your hips are tight and they need you to move, like quite feminine movement, just sway them side to side here. So we're still dipping the navel, we're still opening the chest, but we're just swaying the hips from side to side. Okay, now let's move to cat. So visualize a little angry cat. You're going to become that little angry cat with your chin down onto your chest, tucking the tailbone under, lifting up with your navel towards the sky, dropping down. Keep the head nice and relaxed and the neck. Feel how lovely that feels into those vertebrae of the spine. Okay, now we'll get our little flow on. So we'll dip down again. Inhale, dip down. Gazing up. Exhale, curling up. It's a really nice one again. You know how like that seed to flower at the start, where we're really trying to marry up the breath with the movement? This is why I love this little flow so much. I think I do it every day in life, because it really helps you tune into what's going on in the back, in the pelvis, in the womb. And it also just helps you to slow your breath right down and connect in with the breath. Okay, back to tabletop position. Let's get the hips going a little bit more, okay? So let's come into some lunges. I love lunges. I'm sure you've realised this if you've been coming for weeks, but they're just awesome for the hips. So we're going to take our right foot forward, okay? Take your right foot in between your hands. So you're still kind of framing up your foot. The hands are either side, okay? Hands are still below the shoulders. Then let's take the left knee back a little. And this is where, again, you're tuning into your body. So we're looking for achy, stretchy feeling, but nothing too ridiculous. Okay, so by just taking that left knee back a little bit at a time, you start to think, yep, that feels like what my body's asking me to do. It's asking me to open up with my hips. So again, I love a little rock back and forth. Maybe you don't. Maybe you like, no, I don't want to move. I just want to stay here and enjoy it. But I quite like to take my legs straight at the front and walk back a little, like walk my hands along the floor. And then I like to exhale deep down into the lunge. Okay, so if that feels good, do that, or keep it static. Sometimes I like it quite static as well, but whenever I'm trying to tune into the womb and I'm trying to bring myself comfort there, and when I'm trying to get blood flow going in, I think movement and, flow, in terms of flowing movement, is lovely. Okay, so if you've done your little rocks back and forth, now we're going to lift up. Okay, so we're going to take our hands and just link them onto the knee. So now you've lifted up your body, so there's weight shifted now. So your whole torso now is lifted, and it's pushing down into the hips, and it's dealing with different little ligaments in the hips, and it feels really nice as well. So we can add, so you can stay here for all parts of the cycle, but if your first half of the cycle and you want something a little bit more, then you can twist in this position as well, okay? So what we can do is take our hands over our heart into a nice prayer position, and then we can take our left elbow to the outside of the right thigh, okay? And you kind of, I would only do this first half of the cycle, ladies, okay? Because I'm second half and it doesn't feel good. But if I was first half, I would twist here, and I would gaze up towards the ceiling, and it feels really nice. It's giving your ovaries some extra blood flow. It's just really nice. Okay. back to the front, hands either side, and we are going to take the right foot back, and we're going to do that on the other side, okay? Left foot forward. All right, and then rock back and forth. Or keep it static as if you want. Remember your breath. Remember what we're focusing on tonight. We're trying to keep ourselves right in the present. We're trying to just use the breath. So you can come up onto the knee and just sit here with your hands folded over, clasped together over the knee, or you can take the elbow to the outside and gaze up towards the ceiling. A lovely little revolved low lunge. Okay, back round to the front, hands onto the floor, and then we're going to come to standing forward fold. Okay, so a little rock back and forth, taking the back foot, the right foot forward into a folded over position. The reason I'm saying a folded over position is everyone's legs at the back are different, and some people are, they don't really struggle with forward folds, and no matter how warm their muscles are, they can just fold over. Some people, it takes them a little bit longer, me included. So we're just going to let the hands hang, we're just going to let the head hang, and we're just going to breathe here. Okay, then we're going to uncuddle up very, very slowly. All right, up to standing. There we have it, we're in a standing position. Right, if you could just excuse me for a little minute while I take my jumper off. You know what I'm like, I always come warm with a jumper, and then I have to take it off halfway through without knocking this microphone. Right, so we're going to do our moon salutes that we do nearly every week, but before we do that, let's do a balance. Okay, and I'm going to give you two options for your balance. All right, let me take a drink of juice as well. Okay, so your options are a tree pose or a standing half lotus. Both are awesome into the hips, which is what we're after. Both are awesome for getting blood flow moving. But above all, balances are great if you're trying to practice this sense of present moment, this sense of just being in the present, because all you're concentrating on is being as still as you can while balancing your body. And it is such a good trick for clearing the mind. Okay, so your two options, we've done tree loads over the past however many weeks. So that's why I thought I'd just give you a little change. But the lotus, the standing half lotus is a tiny wee bit harder. So that's why I'm giving you two, okay? So both of them start off with the right foot just really anchored down, okay? So really anchoring that foot down and just draw your attention to the hips and just neutralize the hips, okay? And take your weight out your left leg. For your tree, you're opening up the knee to the side, okay? And as you're really taking that knee quite far back, we're keeping the right side of the pelvis quite static. This is where all the opening up of the pelvis comes from, okay? Then you can take your foot onto your calf or onto your thigh, okay? While keeping the pelvis nice and neutral. Second option is for standing half lotus, we take the foot onto the thigh, so much so that you can look down and you can see the sole of the foot. And instead of the knee coming like opening out to like a gate like that, you're kind of trying to take it down the way. And the thing about standing half lotus is that sometimes, like me, these leggings are like slides, like we wore slides. So there, I can take my hand off. You're bringing your hands to prayer, okay? So whatever one you decide to do, I'm just going to do one. I'm just going to do it with my foot and my ankle, because I've not been well the past 2 days and it's just not happening, right? But those are your options. And whatever you do, you just choose a little drishti, a little gaze point, and you breathe, and you try and imagine you are a tree on a day with no wind. You're trying to make your body as still and as calm as you can. Noticing the breath, noticing how calm a little balance can just make you feel. Okay, let's drop down on this side and go over to the other side. And remember with balances, right, if you fall over, I hope you don't fall over, but if you sway about, like I often do, have a laugh at it, okay? We're not taking ourselves too seriously. We're coming as we are to our little mat. It's not like we're not, have a wee laugh, right? That's what I'm trying to say, okay? Into tree or standing half lotus on the other side. How does it feel on this side? Again, I think this posture is great for connect. See, there's me falling over again. Connecting in with the pelvis and feeling how it feels one side to the next, or balancing and you think, God, I'm just not very balanced today. And it's a lovely reflection. It's like a mirror of how you're feeling. And again, there's no judgment there. It's just how you're feeling, okay? All right, hand down. Okay, so let me just turn my class plan over, find out where we're at, because I go off piste. Right, so I've said we would do our moon salutes, so we're going to do them now, okay? So we're going to come up to the top of our mat and let's talk through our moon salute that we do quite often. You might be at your first night and you're like, what the heaven's sake is a moon salute? Well, you're about to find out. It's just a connection of little postures all linked up together. That's all it is, nothing too fancy, okay? So we begin these moon salutes for fertility in Tadasana, okay? So feet about hip width, anchor them down. Take your hands down by your side, nice strong legs, bit of a lift of the pelvic floor, drawing in of the navel towards the spine, and a sense of lifting it up, chest open as well. Okay, so we do 3 things to start off. Standing forward fold, chair pose, standing forward fold, okay? So there's your first 3. But we do a big upward salute first. So we inhale, lift our hands up, and then we exhale into a standing forward fold. So we're taking our hands towards the floor, and I say towards the floor, let's not worry about how far they go. Drop the head, crown of the head leading down, and then we quite quickly swoop back up, okay? So nice big inhale up, hands above the head, chair pose. Sit down as if you're in a chair. Okay, so it's quite a strong pose. The feet are driving down, the knees are hip width, sit bones coming away out behind. Then we lift up again and we fold over again. Okay, then it's into low lunge. So we take the right foot back and we drop the knee, hands either side of the foot, low lunge. So you can rock if you want to rock, but we've already done a low lunge, so maybe our low lunge feels quite good because we've warmed up. Then from here we come to downward facing dog. If you're on your period just now, if you're menstruating, then let's skip out down dog. Let's not do it at all and just come into child's pose, okay? So hands onto the floor about shoulder width, taking the left foot back, taking the sit bones towards the ceiling. Okay? And we're really only in down dog for 1 breath. All right, so I won't talk you through all the mad little technicalities of down dog. We're just here for 1 breath. Drop down with the knees, then we're into table, and then we take an inhale, then we take an exhale into child's pose, and we join the ladies who are menstruating who've been sitting in child's pose for a while. Then we take a nice big inhale and we start to rise up onto a nice knee stand. So the knees are below the hips, lifting up with the hands. Take your gaze towards the ceiling. Exhale down, table, then back up to down dog, unless you're on your period. And you may be asking me, why can I not do it when I'm on my period? Well, because that downward flow of energy that's really powerful in the body during menstruation should not be messed with. We respect that and we don't flip our body upside down. Okay, that's all it is, nothing fancy. Okay, knees to the floor. Then we take ourselves into the lunge on the other side. So what foot is it? Right foot forward this time. So take your right foot forward. We're into low lunge on this side. Okay, and then this is where the moon salutes are really nice, because they all tie up at the exact point that you started. Okay, so now we're coming, tucking the toes under of the left foot, and we're kind of having a little bit of momentum. Step forward, standing forward fold. Then we inhale up, and we do it nice and slowly, curling up, hands above the head, chair pose. So hands hip width, shoulders relax and drawing down into chair. Inhale, lift. Exhale, standing forward fold again. Then let's draw up, all the way up. Take the hands above the head, but this time bring the hands into prayer and down the centre line. Okay, so there you go. One moon salute done. Let's go for another, shall we? Take a little sip of my juice. Sorry, I'm really dehydrated. I've had a little bug for 2 days and it's made me really, like, you know, when you need to drink loads and loads of juice after. Right, let's go again. Okay, so just to be a little different, let's go back with the left foot first this time in our lunge. I like doing that because I think it really balances up the body really well. Okay, inhale, lift. Exhale over, standing forward fold. Remember, relax your head in your standing forward fold. And don't lock your knees out. Let's keep them soft and gentle and flowing. Inhale, lift, hands above head. Exhale, down, chair pose. Inhale, lift. Exhale, over. Standing forward fold. Now, like I said, let's do left foot back first. Low lunge. Okay, just for a little breath. Take your gaze up, open your heart. Then we're into down dog, okay? So you might have to go back into a table and then up to down dog, or you might find you're all right swooping up from here. Downward facing dog. Let's go down with the knees into table. Take an inhale, then an exhale. Child's pose. Then an inhale up to that nice knee stand. And then exhale back down. Table. Tuck the toes under. Downward facing dog. And you know, if you're not doing down dog, you just chill out in child's pose. Then we're taking the left foot forward. Have I done that right? God, guys, sorry. We're taking the left foot forward into low lunge on the other side. Okay. Feel that lovely openness into the hips. Tuck the toes under and then up to standing forward fold. And then up. Hands above head. Chair pose. Up again. Inhale. Exhale forward. Standing forward fold. Then lift up. All the way up. Hands above head. And down. Over your heart. I think I might have done that wrong towards the end. I can't even ask you because you... It's fine. It was still nice, wasn't it? I think I don't know. I think I maybe lost my train of thought there. It's cool. Right, so we're going to do our stretching of the sole now. It's a lovely little stretch through the soles of the feet, and it's lovely just for energy flow in the body, okay? So we're going to tuck the toes under, and our feet, knees, everything's about hip width, okay? Then we're going to bring our hands over our heart, and we're going to slowly lower the sit bones down onto the heels, okay? And you should feel quite a strong stretch through the sole of the foot. Some weeks it feels worse than others, worse as in achier. We don't want to end in agony here, okay? So if it's really a struggle, all you need to do is lift up a little bit. But ideally, bum coming onto heels, lovely and lengthened through the torso. And just enjoy that quite strong sensation into the sole of the foot. Okay, breathing deeply in and out. Okay, and then take yourself into all fours and uncuddle and tap the top of the foot. Tap, 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 tap. Okay, then we're going to cross the ankles over and we're going to come into some seated position. So we're just going to roll over the feet, legs straight out in front. Okay, right, so we're going to do some forward folds. Okay, so the reason I always have cushions here is because I love to use them in my yoga practice to really support and make it quite a restorative practice. Sometimes I'm going into a nice wide leg forward fold here, so you can too. So sit bones connected with the floor, legs nice and wide. Okay, we'll do a little flow from here. So yeah, cushions. So if I was in a point in my cycle or in my life and I just wanted a bit more restorative relaxation, I didn't want to have this sense of pushing myself too deeply, you can do that great with loads of cushions. So get loads of them, stack them out in front. I just want to always show you there's loads of options for you. You know, you can stack them up and you can literally just fold over here, releasing onto them. You can also use them to prop underneath your hips, which I do quite a lot. I like just pop them underneath the sit bones to help lift through the hips, lift through the spine. So you can do that too, okay? If you want to, you might be fine. You don't have cushions to hand anyway, so it doesn't matter, okay? So wide leg forward folds are awesome for this blood flow stimulation from the large skeletal muscles of the legs into the pelvis. But because we're folding over, we're putting a little bit of pressure into the forehead, and it's just this real calming effect that they have. All right, and again, you can go as deep or as light into them as you like, okay? So legs are nice and wide, toes towards the ceiling, and then we're going to just have a nice big lift up with our hands, okay? So that helps, I find that helps lift the spine, make everything lovely and straight. Then we're going to tilt forward from the pelvis, folding over, okay? And just keep it gentle here. I mean, maybe you do have loads of flexibility into your hips and you can go and really take the chest towards the floor, but just one breath moving in and out. We want it to feel restorative. We want it to feel like we're nurturing the body, okay? So just always bear that in mind with your fertility yoga practice. It's not an exercise class. It's not a hot Bikram yoga class. It's not a power yoga class. It is different. Not that those things aren't great, but it's different, and it's for you. It's real self-care. It's real comfort for you and what you're going through just now. Okay, so we'll just lift up a little bit. We'll just come back up. We'll keep our legs as they are, and we'll just take ourselves over to one leg, and then we'll go to the other, okay? So there's a slight shift of the body, like a kind of twist from like the bra line, just so that we look over the left leg and just take the hands towards the left foot. Again, I say towards, they might not be anywhere near, and maybe your hands are way up in your thigh. But what did I say about not judging it or judging ourselves. We just go with it. We just really come as we are, sit deep within the posture and breathe our way through it. Okay? And then we'll just do that same thing on the other side. So we're gazing over the other leg. I'm onto my right leg. And then we'll come back into center, and we're literally just going to do a nice open twist. Pretty much everybody can do this, really. There's still gentle. Just place your right hand just to the floor at the center and just lift up with the left hand towards the ceiling and take your gaze up. It's just nice and open and gentle. Into center. Over to the other side. Nice lengthened spine, hand just reaching straight up, and we just let our gaze and our body turn towards that hand that's reaching up. Okay, into center. Now let's bend the legs and take the soles of the feet together. You can keep that cushion underneath your bum if you're using it. Okay, and this is one that you can tweak according to how you're feeling in your cycle as well, this Baddha-Konasana, okay? So one way you can tweak it is with how far you're bringing your heels in towards the groin, okay, or in towards the sit bones. So if you were like, energy's super low, perhaps you were menstruating, perhaps you just weren't feeling yourself at all, you were feeling massively fatigued, then I would just go nice and gentle. I would take the heels away out in front, and then it's more like a kind of diamond shape you're seeing as you look down. I would just bring my hands gently onto my knees, and I would just butterfly the knees up and down, and it's really therapeutic. And I would just kind of close my eyes and just go into it like that. But taking the heels closer in increases that stretch into the hips. So if I was feeling more like I needed that and I needed to really stretch out my hips and release tension, then I would draw my heels in a lot closer. Take the knees towards the floor, lift and lengthen with the spine, open through the chest, and breathe deeply. So that's a nice little option. Other nice options in Baddha-Konasana are a forward fold or a twist again. So for a forward fold, it's that sense of lifting up through the spine and beginning to tilt forward, keeping the chest quite open, keeping the shoulders quite relaxed, and just beginning to fold over, sort of reaching the head way out in front somewhere. So that's a nice option. If you're enjoying that, then you can stay there, or you can do a twist from here, just simply resting the right arm or the right hand onto the right knee, left hand out behind, lifting and lengthening and gazing behind. Do what you want to do. So there's a few options there. Forward fold or into some twists. If you're doing the twist, then maybe that's enough on that side and you can go to the other side. Okay, back out in front, bring the knees together. Take the legs out, give your legs a little wobble up and down. And we're going to return back to supine position, like where we started from. But this time we're making it into a nice moving bridge, okay? So we're going to come onto our back again, and again make it slow and mindful, just dropping down, okay? And the heels are coming in a little closer this time towards the sit bones, all right? The feet are still flat on the floor. Shoulders relaxed, hips releasing, spine releasing. Right, we're going to do it like a movement up and down with the body, with the hands. So we start off with the hands, just clasp them and put them, like place them literally on your pubic bone. Just let them rest there. Then what we're going to do is work with the breath again, okay? So we're going to push down through the feet, lift up, engage through the glutes, lift the hands up and over the head to the floor behind. Really lifting up with the hips. Sorry, my microphone's banging again here. Sorry if it's making a noise. And then as you exhale, the hands come up and over and back to where they started, and the hips come back down onto the floor. Okay, so keep going like that. It's a free flow up and down with your bridge position. Okay, keep going up and down. And then the next time your body comes down to flat on the mat. I forgot I took my microphone off there, so it wasn't banging. I don't know if that picked up. I'm just saying, if the next time you finish there and you're back down, let's take the knees towards the chest. So both knees towards the chest, hands just cupping around the knees and really draw in with the knees towards the chest and rock from side to side. Okay. And then we're just going to do a nice little spinal twist here, okay? So the knees perhaps not drawn quite as tight in towards the chest. We're just going to take them slightly away, but they're still bent, feet are still off the floor. You're going to take your gaze, so gaze along the floor to the right, okay? So like along where your shoulder is, and let the knees both go over to the left-hand side. So it's a gentle supine spinal twist. The right shoulder's still on the mat. And we're twisting through the torso, through the back, but it's gentle because we've got our knees bent. But still, it's really nice into your kidneys, your adrenals, and just really nice into the spine and into all the muscles round about the spine. Inhale back up into center, gaze along the floor to the left. Take the knees out to the right. With your hands, if you've got room, sorry, I should have said this, you can have your hands away out at shoulder height, okay? Okay, back into center. Just another little gentle release into the hips now. So we're going to take our hands and clasp them round the right knee and take the left leg straight along the floor. And then we're really going to just work into the right side, okay? So we're drawing the knee right in towards the chest. We're still active through the left leg, the heels reaching away. A few breaths here. Okay, then we're going to just take that right knee out towards the side, okay? So we're opening up with the hips again. So just with right hand round the knee, just draw it out to the side, okay? So it's a kind of external rotation of the hips. Keep your left hand on the left side of the pelvis, that hip bone, just to make sure it's behaving itself and it's not coming away up off the mat and following that movement with the knee. This is where we get the best stretch if we keep the left pelvis, side of the pelvis on the mat, and we take the right knee towards the floor. Okay, into center on that side, and then the right leg comes straight out, and then the left knee comes in towards the chest. Just really enjoy and breathe into that stretch. Remember, if your mind's gone walkabout, just gently drag it back and say, come on, let's just focus on the breath and focus on being in the present moment and focus on how this feels in your body. Okay, left knee, left hand towards the floor, right hand just securing that right side of the pelvis. Okay, come back into center, both knees in. Again, just Apanasana position again. A little rock, side to side. Okay, and now you're ready for your final relaxation, okay? Come here. So get yourself ready and cozy and comfy. I hope you've got cushions there. I hope you've got a little blanket to put on, all right? Okay. Let me get my jumper back on. All right. And I will give you a little wee minute just to get yourself sorted and settled. So if you're the same as me and you take your jumper off during your practice, when you go into Shavasana, you need to put it back on because we want you to be warm and comfortable, okay? Okay. So you can lie on your back in your Shavasana position, this nice gentle position on your back where the heels aren't together and the legs aren't together, they're apart, to take that pressure off the hips. Hands out by your side, palms facing up. Shake your head side to side really slowly, so just take your head as if you're shaking it, but nice and slow, just to release through the neck. I'll just read our little quote again, just before we settle down. Peace is accepting today, releasing yesterday, and giving up the need to control tomorrow. However hard that is, and I know it's really hard. All right, so now I want you to take your attention to the breath as it moves in and out. We've done all our real control of the breath. We've done our breathing technique at the start. This is much more of just a free, easy breath moving in and out. And all you have to do is notice it as it moves in and out of the body. You're just witnessing that flow, the slow coming and going, the evenness and the quiet rhythm. Allow the body to just be, and you're melting down onto the floor. You feel really safe and secure just being in the present moment. This is your time. You've got nowhere to go. You've nothing to do. There's nobody you have to be just now. Just be. Let go of all expectations of yourself. Let go of all judgments of yourself. Just be. And this sense of letting go emotionally and spiritually and just giving yourself a massive break brings a sense of peace to your body that allows your body to rest, to let go, and to relax. And you deserve this peace, and you deserve this feeling of relaxation. And the body begins to feel heavy as a result of this. Starting off, the shoulders may just drift down a little more, as if someone has lifted a burden from them, and they release down. And this sense of real release into the shoulders keeps extending down the arms, and the arms feel really, really heavy. And the tops of the hands, the backs of the hands that are touching the mat almost feel like they're melting into the floor. And the whole spine feels longer than it did an hour ago. And you thank yourself for that, and it feels really relaxed. You've done that, you've given yourself this time, this self-love, this self-care. And your pelvis feels quite loose and relaxed as well, or definitely looser than when we started. And you know all that work you've done into your pelvis has been so good for your womb health and for your menstrual health. And with that knowledge, you feel really peaceful and really grateful. And you know your womb space is thanking you for it. And your belly feels quite spacious and relaxed. And because you've released the pelvis, the legs feel really heavy. You've taken the load off of your legs, and they're just releasing down and away. Even all the little tiny frown lines and wrinkles on your forehead feel softer and more relaxed. And the temples relax as well. And you draw your attention to your jaw. And you realize you've been walking around holding a burden in your jaw, and your jaw's tense and clamped. But now's the time to release that. Perhaps you even want to wiggle it side to side and just help with that a little more. And then let it slacken and release. There's even a sense of deep peace and relaxation over the eyes. And they've closed so deeply that it would feel like a massive effort now to open them. And that's good. Now the whole body feels like it's just releasing down. And you're visualizing yourself lying on a really soft bed, and your body just releases and responds. And you find that your subconscious has taken you to a place that you've created in your subconscious, where you need to retreat with yourself, and you need to give yourself self-care and give yourself time to just be in the present moment, where you can release the burden of the past and the burden of the future and leave them at the door, and close the door on them and just be in your special place. And you realize that by doing all this, you're truly living the fifth limb of yoga, pratyahara, going inwards, where you go inside, observe your thoughts, feel sensations, and honor emotions without judging yourself. And you accept yourself in this moment. And here's the most important bit, where you realize you are enough, just as you are. So I'm going to stop talking now to let that really sink in. Accept yourself in this moment and realize you're enough. So I am bowing to you now. Even though it's over the internet, I'm bowing to you exactly as you are in this moment in time, okay? So I'm going to leave the music running. I am going to let you move yourself out of relaxation in your own precious time, okay? And that could be in the next few minutes or much, much longer, okay? Take care, ladies, and I will hopefully see a lot of you next week if you enjoyed the class, okay? Take care.